Sunseeker may be pushing boundaries with its Ocean series, but it's boats like this, the 88 Yacht, that are the backbone of the range. It nestles between the 76 and the 95, and since launch, Sunseeker has delivered 19 of these, 75 if you include the 86 yacht that this is based on. That is extraordinary numbers for a yacht of this size and price. So in this review, I'm going to try and put my finger on why it's been so successful by driving it, touring it, talking about pricing, and mentioning the word detail a lot. I'm Jack Haines, welcome to YachtBuyer. Let's begin with the slow speed stuff then. We've got a pair of 2,000 horsepower MTUs on this particular boat. That is the largest engine option and the most popular, I'm sure. You can have a joystick, the Zenta system that combines thrusters and props to, if you twiddle and push, the boat will move in the same way, but this boat hasn't got that, so I've got a pair of throttles and I've got proportional bow and stern thrusters. It's also got fin stabilisers. The only option on this yacht is fins. You can't have a gyro, and they work at 0 speed and also when the boat is moving along. So if you want to manoeuvre the thing, you're going to put it in and out of gear, one stick forward, one stick aft, and that will give you that turning motion. Obviously, if you want to do that without the engines, and you have the thrusters, bow and stern. Stern is an option, bow is standard, but again, you can get the same movement of that, and if you want to move sideways, you can use the thrusters to do that as well. The other thing this particular boat's got fitted is trailing pumps, which means you can run safely on one engine, and that gives you a range of displacement speed of nearly 3,000 nautical miles. Pretty good going for an 86 footer. But I know it's not really the slow speed stuff you want to know about. What is it like to drive a 88 yacht with 4,000 horsepower tucked down there behind the deck? Well, let's open her up and find out, shall we? Now, while I speed up, this is a very good time to subscribe to the channel. We like doing this sort of thing, sea trials. It's what we're about. So if you enjoy seeing the boats being put through their paces, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, and you'll never miss one. Okay, we're getting towards cruising speed now. It's about 20 knots. And she'll top out at 28, so you can cruise anywhere between here and 26 knots really, and you're probably looking at a range of about 300 nautical miles if you want to go along that speed. As I said, if you slow it right down, it's got a huge fuel capacity, so you can cover some ground at slow speed. And it is amazing how something this big can perform so comfortably at these higher speeds. It's so solid through the water, so refined, relaxing, obviously very stable. The fin stabiliser are a big part of that. They're great because they work at these higher speeds as well. Gyros, you're losing the benefit of planing speeds. Not the same when you've got these fins, and of course they obviously do a job when the boat's stationary too. But the thing is, it also handles nicely, which is not necessarily in the brief for a boat like this, but if I just pull quite a hard turn to port now, there's no heel, but it really does shift round nice and quickly. Again, the fins help with this, keep it on the straight and narrow, but it digs in and it turns back on itself remarkably quickly for something so big. And then when you want to open the taps, you've got all that horsepower, all 4,000 horsepower, those MTUs, to open it up and get you up to a bigger cruising speed. It's a calmish day today in pool, so really the only thing we're going to have to contend with is our own wash, which we're about to go through now. But I predict it really will just romp straight over it as if it's not there, which is, yeah, exactly what it's doing. And there are some really clever details at this helm station, one of which is this flap here which lifts up. If I put it down, hopefully you can hear the effect of wind on my mic. If I put it back up again, it does a great job, and I don't know why more yards don't do that, because it means you can have a windscreen as sleek as you like. As long as that's there, then the two people at the helm station are getting buffeted by the wind. That's a really nice feature, and you can see through it as well, so the view is still very good. It's a nice big helm position here, space for a couple of big SIM rads. You've got built-in charging for your phone, autopilot down here, the MTU engine switches, which they really need to upgrade because they look so old school compared to the rest of the dashboard. And you've got some switches down here for the likes of the horn, the sunroof, which you can control from here, and the bimini out the back. It's nice that I've got space here for somebody next to me. These seats bolster as well, so if I want to sit a little bit higher, I can. I haven't touched the trim tabs at all today. They haven't got a dial on them, so it's hard to know where they are in their travel. They've been right up but the natural running attitude of this thing is really good. It tracks really nice and straight, it doesn't go too bow high, and I can really easily see the bow even in this seated position. The throttles are nice and close. I can adjust the wheel if I want to move it up or down. That all works very nicely. Yeah, it's a really well put together helm stage. You know, they've built a lot of these, as I've mentioned, and there's lots of refinements that have just made it a really good cohesive package. But let's go and see if it's the same case from downstairs. Sunseeker plays a lot on its sporting heritage, and rightly so. It's frankly ridiculous that a yacht this big, that weighs the best part of 80 tons, is so responsive to the throttles and so agile, and if anything you feel more plugged into it from this lower helm position. You sit a bit further forward, there's no wind noise so you can hear the engines more, and you just feel far more engaged with the whole process because you're that close to the waterline. But again, when I run this wheel through my hands, it's amazing how quick it is to react, and it's completely tabletop flat as well. You know, as I said, the fins play into that, but it's an amazing feeling to have something this big, this powerful, this luxurious, that is as agile and responsive to your inputs as it is. But it's also quiet down here. It's a really easy place to sit and chat, and you're not really hearing too much engine noise. You're aware of them, but it's not noisy by any stretch. There's only a single helm chair on this boat. You can have a second one if you want. You've got much bigger screens down here as well, these huge great simrads, and a lot of the boat's functions are controlled through the CMate system too, so that's all of the systems on board, tankage, that sort of stuff. You can oversee all of that from there. But despite that, there's still quite a lot of buttons on this dash, different screens, things like that. It's a little bit cluttered, but in terms of presenting the information to you, it's really good. The view aft, not so good. You've obviously got the galley here, so I'm not really aware of anything that's on my port side, so you need your crew to be checking that view from down here. Not so bad to start because I can look back out of this window. But it's a lovely place to drive from. It really is. And of course you're very close to the kitchen here, so if you are on a longer passage or at displacement speed, you need to nip in there to get some supplies, then you're right next to it. That's another benefit of having this forward galley arrangement. But yeah, we're cruising along at 23 knots now, and it genuinely feels like half of that from down here. It is so relaxing. The reserves of power you have are so impressive. The fact that I can go from 23 knots and then just up it, and you still get that nice surge of power as the boat begins to gallop further, even faster, 25, 26 knot now, getting up towards that 28 top speed, but it's still, you know, incredibly quiet and refined. Just see the wash here next to me. You know you're trimmed well when you've got that feeling, and yeah, it's a remarkable thing to be driving something this big and comfortable, but for it to be so dynamically impressive as well, and that is something that Sunseeker are really good at, and they've clearly nailed the recipe with the 88 yacht. So it's a big tick in the box, the driving experience. Let's go and have a look around the decks and interiors and see if they're as good. We'll start down here at the waterline where I'm standing on the optional hydraulic bathing platform. It's a £60,000 option, but it has got a 1,000 kilogram lift capacity, so you can get a really decent tender on here. And it's also got this, what Sunseeker would term the beach club arrangement. It's not quite that, but it is a very useful space. This hatch lifts up, you've got this bench here, got some storage here as well, storage up there too, and it just means that you can get in and out of the water. Obviously you've got the hydraulic bathing platform as well, which helps you in and out of the water, somewhere to sit, somewhere to put your stuff, and there's also the option to have a built-in shower. This particular boat hasn't got it, but you can have an overhead shower here instead of just the deck shower that we've got down there. Incidentally, this here is access to the crew cabin. We're going to look at that towards the end of the tour. I should also mention that on this model you can have the X10 seating system, whereby this isn't here at all. It's a seat which folds down to look out over the water and then flips up to look into the cockpit. We've seen it on other Sunseeker models. It is a cost option on the 88 yacht as well. Other things down here, I've mentioned the deck shower. You've got your shore power connection hidden underneath this flap here. And then just above that, a couple of steps up, is where the cassette passerelle will pop out if you're stern to mooring. Into the cockpit. There are boarding gates on both sides. They push open and lock in place really easily. It's always nice to have those from a safety point of view. And then you've got your mooring gear down here. It's lovely and chunky. You've got winches on both sides as well, so you can tighten the lines really easily. And all the controls, the likes of the passerelle, the platform and the beach club are down there too. And rope bins on both sides as well, which is nice. You can chuck your lines in there, know exactly where they are. And onto the cockpit itself, well, it's a big space and it's very flexible as well. This boat has got freestanding Minotti furniture. Of course, if you wanted a big table here, so you can dine out here. You can do that as well. And if you've got extend, you're going to want seats that face out so that they're facing the seat that flips up when you've got it in that position. So yeah, very flexible area, but it's a big space, well covered as well overhead, so there's plenty of protection. And what you've got down here is quite useful too. It's a sink, which is obviously great for serving guests if they're here, but also good to wash your hands if you've been handling lines and the med and your hands are dirty. There's a fridge tucked down here as well, some storage next to it. Good to have the fridge there because on this model the Galley is right forward underneath the windscreen, so you're a little away from the Galley fridge, so that's quite useful to have that down there. Over here on this panel, these outdoor panels are nice because they've got the Sunseeker emblem engraved in them. I always think that looks quite cool. And this controls a privacy blind. So obviously this provides a bit of shade. It's a very warm day, low sun coming to the cockpit, but it also provides privacy. If you're stern to a quayside, this means you've got prying eyes looking at you if you're using this area. Over here, underneath this hatch, as an option, you have a third station. So this has got throttle controls, thruster controls, and engine controls. Of course, you've got controls on the Flybridge and on the main deck, but especially if you're going to have this in the med, having this down here right by the bathing platform is really useful. And before we head up to the Flybridge, because what's at the end of these steps, we'll go and check out the foredeck. The side decks are nice and wide, well protected at the aft end here as well, and you've got nice high railings keeping you safe as you move down. There are boarding gates on both sides as well, very handy for if you're side two, and then you pick up the mooring gear here as well. And these lovely windows that are integrated into the side, they're very striking from the outside. They give the boat that really recognisable profile, but of course on the inside, as we'll see in a moment, it means you've got a nice unbroken view out over the water. Here's the first side door. They're on both sides. This one leads into the Galley. Again, we'll see that when we pop inside in a second. And then we're right forward on the foredeck, and the VIP cabin is raised quite high on this yacht, and therefore so is the foredeck. So everything, as you can see, is quite high. These lockers come up to my chest height. They're handy because you've got these nice deep lockers on both sides, really good for covers. There's a couple of fenders in there as well, and everything fires open on very powerful gas rams. And then there are a couple of steps up into this area. So you feel very much on this space rather than in it, but the elevated view is actually really nice. This is a lovely place to sit. You've got this lovely teak table as well, so this is a nice place to sit and have a drink. And of course, you've got to have some sunbathing space in an area like this, and we've got that here in front of us, 3 or 4 person sun pad, pop-up backrest as well, so you can sit and look forward if you want to. And nice that you've got these carbon fibre cup holders, good for holding your drinks, but obviously a good place to hold your phone, things like that if you're up here too. And you can also cover this area. There are poles that slot into the deck with a canopy, so you can get some shade if you want it. And then right forward, obviously this is the working area. Twin anchors on this boat, really good access to the windlasses, 2 deep anchor lockers on either side, and again, really substantial mooring cleats with fairleads built down there into the top sides. And these little benches are quite nice. I like these sorts of spots. You're not going to want to sit here at 25 knots, but at displacement speed, entering a harbour, going down a river, something like that, this would be a nice place to sit with this huge yacht stretching out behind you. Let's head to the Flybridge. The Flybridge is one of the key features of the 88 yacht. It's a really nice space and it's very flexible at its aft end as well. This boat's got a popular option, which is this fixed sun pad, but you could have a hot tub here if you preferred. You can have some freestanding furniture. You can have a table here if you want. They really are quite happy to customise this area. As an option, this boat has got a bimini that will slide out from here. It's a cost option, but if you want some shade over here, you can push a button at the helm and that will come out. And then moving forward, you've got the entertaining spaces, starting with the bar. This is a big bar. They fit the same one to the 100 yacht, so it feels quite big on this boat, but it feels nice as well. Gives you a bit of super yacht luxury. Underneath there's a double-sized grill under here, cooling space and ice maker underneath, big sink, and I like this marble top as well, just allows you to line up your drinks right in front of your guests who are making the use of those stools. And the detailing is beautiful too. It is throughout. I'm going to talk about it quite a lot on this yacht, but I love the way they've got this stainless steel here in the bar front, all the underlighting. They've paid real close attention to that sort of thing, and it is a lovely all-round effect. The dinette is very large. The table is at its biggest at the moment, but you can flip it over on both sides. These just fold away. So if you're not dining, it just gives you a bit more space to be able to move around, move in and out of these seats, but it's still a decent size, even when it's folded up. Now this vane sunroof is an option. It's a £30,000 option. You can have a canvas roof as well. Obviously the benefit of the canvas roof is that it gives you a much bigger aperture when it's open. This is right open now. That's as far as it goes, but you do get good shade with this, and it's not going to probably rattle around as much when it's open like the canvas ones can sometimes do. Right forward, adjacent to the helm, You've got 2 helm seats, which is nice, but I like the fact that you can get a couple more people sitting facing forward, enjoying the ride when the boat's moving along, but also they've got this backrest here. This can actually be removed entirely because there's sunbathing space here, so if you want to stretch out, you can take that away. Otherwise, a nice spot to sit, look back over the boat, and you can still interact with your guests who are at the dining table or sitting at the bar. It's quite a simple arrangement, but it just works really, really well. Let's head downstairs. The first thing you notice is this lovely curvature to the entranceway. You can see how the runner curves around like this, and obviously the doors follow suit as well. It looks really, really nice. And then moving into this area, one of the big changes, I mentioned this is based on the 86 yacht, and one of the changes they made was pushing the galley right forward under the windscreen. And there are pluses and minuses to that. The bonus though is the amount of space, living space you have in this section. This huge seating area here, again with Minotti furniture, but this big wrap of sofa. You can have a coffee table in the middle or a footstool, or completely different furniture if you want. It's opposite the TV, which pops out of this cabinet here. There's a little switch inside this cupboard, and that just pops up in the usual way, and obviously come right up and out. And there are more controls over here for the climate control, and you've got full control of the lighting and the blinds from that panel up there, and there's moods as well, so you can have night mode, reading mode, whatever. You can customize it for a few different settings when it comes to the lighting on board. Moving forward, we get to the dining area. The glass on both sides is standard, but it's an option to have this sliding door. So this is just manual, but it slides back, which is nice. It gives you and guests another way to get in and out of the boat from in here, and it also means you get a nice through breeze when you've got this door and the back door open. That works very nicely, and I love the decor in here. They've got this smoked eucalyptus, which looks really, really nice, contrast with the light flooring, marble inlays here in the table, and again, more lovely Minotti furniture. The lighting is gorgeous. I love this light feature, but you've also got the indirect lighting overhead too. And they haven't forgotten the practical stuff, because down here you've got things like all the crockery stowed in its own little place, even down to the salt and pepper shakers and the teapot have all got a little place for themselves. And the detailing here, there's different use of materials, the woodwork carving around here, then you've got the marble inlay. It's really, really nicely done. And what I like, and I mentioned that you have the glass in the bulwarks on either side, well, this is where you get the effect. When you're sitting in these seats, because this isn't just solid GRP, you can always see the water wherever you are sitting in this area. Now behind here is the galley, and there is an option to have a door through there, so you have another access point. If you don't have that, you get the wine fridge. Again, that's quite handy to have that right next to the table, and then just lots of storage in this area over here. And there's a bit more storage very neatly tucked into this corner over on the starboard side. All of the lighting controls here as well, so you've got repeaters for all the lighting throughout this area, and again another climate control switch up here on the starboard side. Now as standard, this is a cloakroom, but I think everybody would have it as the day head, which is what this boat has got. Very handy for guests to have a toilet on this deck, so they don't have to disappear downstairs to go and use the toilet. And then we're right forward into the wheelhouse, and this can be separated from the guest area by a sliding door here, meaning that if you're on passage, the skipper can close this off and not be distracted by people using the saloon. But there are side doors on both sides, so even with this closed, crew can move around without disturbing the guests. And then actually, for a forward galley layout, this is a lot bigger than you might expect it to be, because it goes a long way back. It pushes right back to that bulkhead that we saw with all the storage in it. The downside is it does get pretty warm having the galley up here. It's not a particularly hot day in the UK today. In fact, you can see rain on the windscreen, but it's already getting very warm in here. Granted, we haven't actually got the air conditioning running, but there is lots and lots of countertop. Storage is really good, both under counter. Nice big bins here as well. They're always very helpful. And I like this servery. If there is a cruise chef on board, they can line all the plates up here for the crew to take through the boat. That all works really nicely, and it's got storage around it, above it as well, some sockets, and again another repeater for the air conditioning. All of the cooking is handled over here, induction hob with extraction, and you've got both a microwave and an oven, and yet more storage and cooling space under here. But the majority of the cooling space is right back here on this bulkhead, where you've got domestic size fridge and freezer, fridge up top, freezer below. And the benefit of not having the door through to the galley from the saloon, that's where you can have it if you want it, is you get even more storage on this side of the bulkhead as well. And there's the second crew door out onto the port side deck. Right, let's head downstairs and have a look at the guest accommodation. The 88 yacht has a really solid arrangement depending on whether you want to use it privately or use it as a charter yacht. First, we'll start off in the guest cabins. They're identical twins on either side here. We're going to go into the starboard side one. As I said, they are exactly the same, but this gives you an impression of the size of them. You can have them with runners with a manual slide, so you can slide them across to make a double if you prefer, but in this case it's nice, you can walk between the beds, and the beds themselves are decent width, decent length as well. There's a bit of natural light coming in from that hull window there. Head heights are good. I'm 6 foot, and you can see how much space there is above my head, and you've got really nice detailing in here as well. The lighting is lovely, all the repeaters for blinds and lights and sockets up here too, and a bedside table for both occupants. TV mounted behind the door there, and every cabin has got a private bathroom, which is really lovely if you're on board for a long time. Everyone's got privacy, and they're a good size as well. If we head forward, we'll find the VIP suite. It's a little bit unusual to ascend a run of stairs into a VIP cabin, but it does have a bit of a sense of occasion. You've got this lovely stainless steel banister here, this sort of lobby area where you've got the sideboards, some storage, and the mirror on the wall. And actually the first thing you see is the ensuite bathroom, which is a really nice size and very well spec'd too. Twin sinks with storage behind these mirrors here and inset lighting. The toilet is tucked behind the door. There's some natural light coming in, plus an opening vent as well, so you can ventilate if you're showering in here. And talking the shower, it's a really good size too, with a rain shower head and a separate wand, and all finished in marble, completely flat floor as well. It's very easy to move around in here. Moving into the cabin itself, that's got this partition here, which is quite nice, and then you're into the sleeping area, so to speak. There's a big semi-walk-in wardrobe over there as you walk around this corner, and then again lots of lovely detailing. These stainless steel insets that we've seen elsewhere, and lots of storage options too, through drawers, cupboards. You've got some drawers over there under a bureau as well, which is quite nice. And again, it's all flat floor around here with plenty of headroom, so it's an easy cabin to move around in. You get a really good chunk of hull window in this cabin, and you've got opening ports here too. The beds are really decent size, and nice to have these trays on either side where you can put your electronics and jewellery with plugs, and again electric blinds throughout, so you can control everything from bed, which is quite nice. And again, lovely work here behind the bed head with the lighting and the use of patterns and different materials behind the bed head. It's very interesting. Nothing is really boring when it comes to the decor of this boat, but it's not over the top either. They've judged it really nicely, and that continues in the owner's cabin, which is amidships. Moving amidships then, down here there's the space for an offshore washer dryer, and there's just really good handy storage over on this side. Moving into the cabin, the first thing I'll mention is that we've actually got the engines running. We're manoeuvring out of the anchorage, so they are running at the moment, but hopefully that gives you an idea of what it's like to be in this owner's cabin when you're moving along slowly, and what a cabin this is. Obviously it's full beam, so floor space is really lovely. I like the fact that you've got a repeat of that Minotti sofa down here. Again, there's lots of different things you can do with this space, but I think that sofa arrangement actually works really well next to the bureau. All storage down here, obviously lovely big hull windows as well, so you can drink in those views from bed, and it's a big bed too, set low, again very easy to get in and out of, and storage options are excellent. All this low level stuff, but then again you've got a semi walk-in wardrobe over there in the corner, and it's the same sort of detailing and feel as the other cabins, just on a much bigger scale. But what's really nice about this cabin is the bathroom. So you come in via this walk-in wardrobe of sorts. You've got hanging storage in there, you've got some drawer storage over there, and then this is a nice space as well to put, watches, belts. You've got these drawers down here as well for jewellery and that sort of thing. But it does really have a nice effect. It feels like a very sort of upmarket hotel room. And then the bathroom, if you thought the VIP was nice, well, this is really special. It actually feels quite similar. It's a similar type of layout. Again, just everything's that bit broader. So you've got the twin sinks. I like the way this unit sort of hovers over here, and you've got the underlighting, putting a pool of light down here, and you've got storage underneath too. That works very nicely. And an even bigger shower cubicle right down this end. Integrated drain in the floor looks really nice. This is a vast space. We're going in and out of gear now, considering there's 4,000 horsepower just through this bulkhead. I don't think it sounds too bad at all. But talking of that, let's leave the accommodation and go and check out where the crew sleep. Access to the crew area is via this hatch in the transom. There's space for 4 crew to sleep aboard the 88 yacht. Sleeping space is okay. If they're all in here together, there's not a huge amount of communal space, so to speak. This is the galley over here. You've got the microwave over here with some storage. The fridge is underneath down here, and then through this door is the bathroom. There's only one bathroom, but it has got a separate shower cubicle. Not a very big mess area, space for two of them to sit here with a table. Opposite the television though, and they've also got repeater screens, a navigation screen. See, we've got the depth on here, but you've got navigation there too, so you can keep an eye on the boat's location from in here. Plus another seamate screen so they can control all systems from down here. Through here we're going to have a look at one of the two bunk cabins. One of them is full of bags, so we'll just show you this one, but they're pretty much identical. I'll just tuck in so you can see the scale of this one. There's a little window here in this one for some natural light. You know, you can get a sense of the size of the bunks in here. Storage behind for some clothes, and you've got repeaters as well for the lighting. They've also got individual air conditioning in this area too. We head back out. This is where you find the washer's dryer on board. Now there is also one in the interior as an option if guests want to have one that they can use, but these are the crew ones and also the ones that the crew will use to do guest laundry. Tucked around there is the other cabin that I mentioned, and then right through here we have a watertight access door to the engine room. There are actually two access points to the engine room, that one, and then there's a deck hatch above my head that leads straight to the cockpit. So if you need to come down here in an emergency or just want to stick your head down and inspect it, you can do. And one of the nice things about testing these big boats is the size of the engine room. No clambering around or stooping in here. Look at the amount of headroom in this space. And these are monstrous great diesel engines, but again, look at the room around those. Very easy to inspect those. You don't have to clamber around them. Easy to negotiate this space, and of course there's lots of components down here. This is a big boat with stabilizers, the fin stabilizers, we've got twin generators, we've got air handling over there for the air conditioning, massive exhausts, but all of it has plenty of space. It does not feel crammed in. It's easy to get to things like the fuel filters, raw water strainers, all of that stuff that the crew are going to have to check on a daily basis is very easy to get to. It's a very professional fit out. The base price for the 88 yacht with the most powerful engines is just over £6.3 million ex VAT. But of course there are a fair few options needed to get it to the healthy specification of our test boat. It had big ticket cost options fitted such as the Platinum package, which includes things like fin stabilisers, the hardtop, twin generators, tropical air conditioning, a hydraulic stern thruster, fuel polishing, and its heat flybridge. On top of that, it also had the aircon upgrade, the moulded hull band, hydraulic bathing platform, the sunroof in the hardtop, the day head on the main deck, the sliding saloon door, anchor and winch upgrades, and the smoked eucalyptus interior. The prices tested, therefore, was around £7.4 million, excluding VAT. I didn't expect the driving experience to stand out so much aboard the 88 yacht. Maybe I should, given Sunseeker pride themselves on how their boats are to drive, but it is a lot more fun than you'd expect it to be, especially from that upper helm. Performance is excellent for a yacht of this size, and it's also really good fun to steer too. But there's so much more besides. It's very well balanced in terms of its deck spaces, its interior spaces, whether you want to use it privately or whether you want to charter it with or without crew. It's a big yacht, but it doesn't feel that big to handle, and if you're an experienced owner-operator, you could probably run this yourself. If you do want to run it with crew, you can sleep four, and they've got their own entire space on deck with that forward galley. However, the forward galley could be a fly in the ointment for some people who want the galley to be more part of the action, and of course some won't like it being tucked right up to the windscreen like this. And there are also more current boats that do a little bit more with this foredeck space. This feels a bit squeezed because everything is so far forward, you haven't got a huge amount of space up here. That aside, it's pretty easy to see why this has been such a popular model. But let me know in the comments what you think of it, and if you were in the market for a boat like this, would you go for the 88 yacht or the 90 ocean? I'd be fascinated to hear which one you choose. Thank you very much for watching that sea trial and review of the Sunseeker 88 yacht. If you liked the video, please do give it a like, we'd really appreciate it. And if you'd like to watch our tour of this yacht's big sister, the 100 yacht we shot that at Cannes, I'll put that in this box up here. And if you want more Sunseeker content, I'll put some for you down there. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do that by clicking up here. Thanks again for watching. I'm Jack Haines. This is YachtBuyer.